The group is beginning to assemble. They have already been prepared with the use of proper study materials for the film which is to be shown. The light control curtains are ready to be drawn. An assistant is at the light switch. It is time to start. The projectionist gives the signal and the curtains are closed. The assistant turns out the light and the show has begun. Everything properly prepared in advance ensures a good film showing.
Wow, classroom technology has come a long way. Long gone are the ditto machines, slide projectors, key punch machines, encyclopedias, and the typing classes with actual typewriters. Even the good old faithful CRT monitors, floppy disks, zip drives, and laser disc players have been phased out, slowly but surely. So what are the new technologies that have found their way into the CTE classroom? I have to admit, by the time this video is complete, a newer, better technology has probably been released. In fact, just yesterday, Apple released the iPad Air. I want one. Then again, I want anything Apple releases. Now, while advances in technology are moving super fast, the infusion of mobile technology in the CTE classroom is a fairly new phenomenon and worth highlighting. In this video, I will highlight 3 different ways mobile technology is being used in the CTE classroom. First off, let's talk about texting students. Superficially, I understand texting a student sounds like a bad idea, and for the most part, it is. But there are free services that allow you to text students and parents without the need to reveal cell phone numbers. Remind 101 is one of the more popular of these free services. Remind 101 is super simple to use. After creating a login, all you have to do is create a new class. Once you create a new class, a phone number and passcode is generated. All you have to do is share this phone number with the passcode to students or parents, and they'll text the number. Afterwards, they will receive a confirmation text that will ask them to text back their name. Once they text back their name, you now have your class texting system set up with that particular parent or student. You can text them, but they can't text you. It's ingenious. And once again, they don't know your number. Teachers are using Remind 101 to remind students about quizzes, projects, paperworks, CTSO events and activities that are upcoming. And then while they're away at events or at internships or co-op, they also can be sent reminders about certain activities or events going on. The next 2 uses of mobile technology in the CTE classroom were filmed at the Traverse Bay Area Career Tech Center. While I was there filming another CTE Advocate episode, I spent some time with their technology coordinator and drafting and design teacher, Mike George. Mike George has been instrumental in assisting the center's teachers with integrating iPads into their classroom and lab instruction. So to start off, let's hear Mike talk about the essential iPad apps and instructional website.
If you want to get started with the iPad and you want to get started very easily, this is my recommendation. Get these 2 apps. Start off with iMovie. It's a video editor. You get to edit and record high-definition video on an iPad and edit it with your finger. The second app is called Explain Everything. This allows you to take your existing PDFs and PowerPoints, pull them right into the iPad, lecture, annotate right over the top of them. But the next question is, how are you going to learn this stuff? Are you going to go take an iPad class somewhere? Probably not. What I would recommend, there's a company called Lynda, Lynda.com. You can sign up. It's the best tutorial website that there is on the internet, in my opinion. For $25 a month, you sign up. You can take as many classes as you want. they have a basic iPad class, and they have a basic iMovie class. You're talking an investment of approximately 4 hours. And at the end of that 4 hours, you'll know how to use your iPad, and you'll know how to edit, produce, and share a movie. So that, to me, is the best way to get started. iMovie, explain everything, and spend $25 on a Lynda account to get the education you need to get started.
So Mike mentioned 2 essential apps, iMovie and Explain Everything. That is all well and good, but how would a CTE teacher use these apps in their CTE classroom and lab? It just so happens to be that Mike was able to show me one way in which he used iMovie to develop introductory videos on how to use a caliper. As you can see, students walk into the class and sit at a station. The station has an iPad, a sheet with a bunch of QR codes on it, and a caliper with some items to measure. Students are shown how to scan the QR codes, and the rest is up to them. The QR codes they scan link them to instructional videos on YouTube that Mike had developed using the iMovie app. What is surprising is how engaged the students are in learning how to use the caliper. Even better, if they get stumped, they just pause and rewind. Meanwhile, Mike is facilitating instruction and helping as needed. To see more of this in action, I head to Tim Vandermeulen's Electrical Occupations course. Like many technical centers, students trail in wildly different times due to travel times and various school start times. Tim's students know that once they enter the classroom, they are to get their iPad from the iPad cart and scan the QR code in front of the room. The QR code prompts a related video. Using the video, and in this case their code book, which is on the iPad, they complete an electrical worksheet. Here is Tim Vandermeulen explaining how he uses the iPads in his Electrical Occupations course.
So here in Electrical Occupations, we're using the iPads, and we use them on a daily basis for lots of different reasons, lots of different tasks. Kind of depends on the day and what we have planned for the day. Today, we're using the iPad to help the students answer some questions that I've prepared, and we're working with electric motors. We're sizing fuses, circuit breakers, and also overload protection for the electric motors. So the iPads are helpful for us today because the students can, number one, they can access the National Electric Code. We've got an electronic version on the iPad that they can access. So they prefer to access that electronically as opposed to using the old paper and printed copy that we have here in class. And in addition, I've also made a few QR codes here for them to scan. The first one on the bottom deals with some motors that we have here in the building, and I'm trying to make it a little bit more realistic where they're coming into a welding shop or maybe a maintenance facility, or in our case the boiler room here in the building. And so they're going to have to look at the nameplate of the motor, they're going to have to look at the different voltages the motor's powered at, and then using the lessons that we've been doing this week, after watching the video, they're going to answer the questions that I prepared, and they'll actually figure out the correct fuse or the correct circuit breaker, and then also determine the overload protection that they might need as well. These other two QRs here, these are just for review. That was kind of the process I went through with them earlier on how to do all of those calculations, how to determine those things. So if they maybe are in a situation where they're having a little trouble and they don't want to ask us, they can come up, they can scan that QR code, and it's kind of the lesson revised and gone through one more time through Explain Everything, that they can see that and view that. And all of those videos are on YouTube. So even if they weren't here today, if they decided they wanted to try to watch those on their own time, they could do it that way. Or if a student's in tomorrow, the videos are out there. I don't have to recreate anything. I don't have to really facilitate having that stuff available. They just scan the code and they're going. So a lot of what I do ends up on YouTube. I've done some tests that way on YouTube, so the students actually come in and rather than reading questions, they just watch a video, and a lot of the questions are inserted into the video. They can see the different components and answer the different questions about the components right on there. Much of what I do to prepare the lessons are using Explain Everything, and that's helpful because I can actually take existing PowerPoints that I've had for years and have had used for years. I can integrate those into the Explain Everything and then add some additional photographs and things as well.
Tim mentioned the app Explain Everything, which is the last piece of educational technology I would like to highlight. I would try to explain what Explain Everything can do, but the app creators have already done that. So why reinvent the wheel? Here they go.
Explain Everything is an easy-to-use design, screencasting, and interactive whiteboard tool that lets you annotate, animate, narrate, import, and export almost anything to and from almost anywhere. Add new or existing photos and videos. Import PDF, PowerPoint, and a variety of other file types from Dropbox, Google Drive, Evernote, WebDAV, and more. All object animations, drawings, and annotations get captured by Explain Everything. Export MP4 movies, PDF documents, PNG images, or XPL project files directly from your iPad. No account is necessary to use Explain Everything and share creations. Pressing the time counter reveals a timeline scrubber. This allows for rewinding to precise locations in the recording and appending replacement recordings and animations. It is possible to import video files into Explain Everything and annotate video within video. Multiple videos can be on a stage at the same time, though the more complicated the project, the larger the file size and export time. When you start a new project, you can choose from 4 template designs. The color templates can be changed for any slide within a project. Exporting a project can be as simple as 2 touches. Explain Everything provides a variety of advanced export features for file type and destination. More possibilities and options will be added in future updates.
In addition, I asked Tim to explain how he uses Explain Everything.
So one of the ways that we use Explain Everything here in class is we can open documents that I've prepared in advance. These are projects that we've used in class over the years, and what we used to do is we used to print them out on paper. The students would take them out into the shop and then they would draw the circuits out and then they'd actually wire the project. So what we've done now with the iPads, we're able to actually, now the students are able to draw in the conductors right on the iPad, and they can label the cables that they need to install in order to make this circuit work properly. They can even, you can notice you can even change some color. So if part of the circuit has to be maybe a different wire size, they can use the color to kind of differentiate those different sizes, and then maybe there's certain procedure that they want to highlight, so like that would be the switch leg, so going up to the light or the feed coming down to the switch. Those different colors can help them differentiate that. And then once they are complete, we can come down here and we kind of grade them the way we always did. We simply look at their drawing and we'll give them 10 points for their drawing, and then they can complete the project. I can move that around a little bit. And once they complete the project, we can give them the score, and then we can okay it ourselves, put our initials on it. And at this point in time, if they would like to, they can, if I hit the right key, they can even send it to us as an email. And once they send that, I can receive that and we can enter it into the grade book, or if they don't want to be quite that advanced, a lot of times we're maybe at our workstation and they can just come up and they can show it to us, and it's one less piece of paper we have to print and potentially lose.
Now, of course, I know that by the time you view this video, Explain Everything may not be the in-app, but it's still a great instructional tool. Lastly, I'd like you to hear from Nick Tennessee. Nick is an electrical occupations student. He was more than happy to share his thoughts on iPads in the CTE classroom and lab.
What's great about when I come to class and having my iPad is I get here earlier than any other student, so I can come in, grab my iPad, get ready to go, because often Mr. V will have a QR code or our assignment up on the board that we need to use our iPad for, and we can come in and get started right away. We don't need to wait for the kids to get here at 9:30. I can come in, get my work done, and just start my day and enjoy it, instead of having to sit around and wait and do nothing and waste my time, because my time here is precious. What I have right here is a motor control panel. What I have is a couple of contactors, motor starters, some auxiliary contacts, and what's really unique about this is I've been using a programmable logic controller, PLC, to actually program and route some paths for electricity to maybe start this motor I have here, or this big 240 voltage motor. Something that I use for that on my iPad is I actually have my instruction manual for said PLC. It actually has everything about this controller and everything I need right here on a PDF. And then what I can really do is there's certain pages that have a list of parts or anything on it. I can actually open up that and go to a web browser, and it'll tell me exactly what I need function-wise with this PLC.
So there you have it. Text reminding systems, iMovie, and Explain Everything. Just a few of the many uses of mobile technology in the CTE classroom and lab. I've also heard of some CTE teachers are recording safety and how-to videos, posting them on YouTube, and then producing a QR code that links to the video and placing that QR code on a piece of machinery. Students can then scan QR codes and watch the video before operating the machine. You know, CTE teachers are incredibly creative. They have to be to keep up with the changes in business and industry. Hopefully this video has sparked a few creative ideas for your program. I am Adam Manley. A big thanks goes out to Mike George and Tim Vandermeulen and all the folks at Traverse Bay Area Career Tech for letting me visit. And of course, thanks for watching.